Hello, thank you so much for helping my project. Could you say a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, of course. My name is Andy. I go to Stephen F. Austin in Sugar Land, Texas, and I'm looking to major in aerospace engineering.
Oh, what interests you about aerospace engineering?
Well, as of what interests me, well, it was a long time ago, as probably like a lot of people did, was like watch this movie called Interstellar, and that movie really inspired me.
And whenever you talk about aerospace engineering, are you thinking about rockets, space stations, maybe even like facilities on other worlds? Oh,
Yep, all that stuff.
all of it. Okay. Well, talking about other worlds, I suppose you must know that NASA's planning to send astronauts back to the moon again for the first time since 1972.
Well, yeah, now I do know that. Well, how I found it out is from the NSS meeting in April. Well, before then, I had no idea about it. And that is the first time I knew that this is actually the second time that we are going back there. I thought it would be more, but I guess not.
Well, actually, in 1969, we landed for the first time. And between 1969 and 1972, we landed six times. So this technically be
Oh,
the
oh,
seventh time. But um, all six of those times were with like the same type of spacecraft. So this is like a completely different type of spacecraft we're going with.
oh yeah. I'm really looking forward to that.
It's interesting. I talked to a lot of people, uh, even around the NASA area who don't have any idea that we're planning to go back to the moon. And I was just wondering, what do you think it would take to actually make people aware of it?
Uh, well, I guess like spread the news, like post it on all the top news so people can see.
That's a good idea. It's funny though, because I think we all look at different news every day. Like I think my news is different than your news is different than
Oh
everybody
yeah, true.
else's.
Well, maybe put it in YouTube video forms and make like people advertise it.
Do you think your classmates know?
Uh, well, I wouldn't say a lot of them do.
Hmm. Um, when uh, when you think about us going back to the moon, I know you want to be an aerospace engineer, but why do you think it's important to go back to the moon?
Well, a moon is like the only place that we access as human that we really went on there. So we need to go back there again. So like well, there's a lot of resources on moon that we still don't know till this day. And it's important for us to like first of all, moon is very close to Earth. Well, by very close, I mean like the closest. So we can start from small steps, I guess.
That's a that's a good idea. I mean, as you mentioned, the moon's always there. It's close as a small step, and then once you feel comfortable going there, you can take a bigger step.
Hmm.
When you think about the future of humanity, like 200 years in the future, what does it look like to you?
I think it will look like that we probably found one or more planet that will suit us to for us to be able to live on. Like maybe Mars. We're not sure, but well, just a couple weeks ago, the Curiosity like made another discovery about like the mud cracks and stuff on Mars. So it proves that they used to have the season changes, and that's like pretty interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and Mars, is very cold and has
Yeah.
very thin atmosphere. So I'd be interested to see if we could warm it up somehow and make the atmosphere thicker.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
Um, If you could, would you take a trip to space?
Well, depending on when, because right now, definitely no, because the technology isn't there yet.
Oh, well, I mean, you have people going to the International Space Station regularly. And
Yeah.
then a couple of years ago, you had a group of four civilians take a 3-day trip, in orbit. So, I mean, people are taking a trip to low Earth orbit
Oh,
now
yeah.
regularly.
Yeah, I would like to correct myself on that. It's the technology is not there for common people yet.
Oh, to make it affordable.
Yeah.
But if you like wanted in, say, a contest or something, a trip to like the International Space Station, is that something you see yourself doing?
Uh, Maybe when I grow up, like maybe 10 years later.
Okay. Um, and if you had an opportunity to go and start a new colony on Mars, do you see yourself doing something like that?
Well, that would be a lot far in the future. I actually don't really see myself doing that. I would be like the one that would go over there once the colony already established.
That makes sense. Yeah. It's funny, you need a certain number of people that are willing to go there when nobody's there to build something, and then you have people that are willing to go there after people are there, and that makes it like much bigger, which makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, any particular space news that you've heard about recently that you're excited about?
Uh, well, particularly not really.
Well, that's um, and whenever you think of yourself as an aerospace engineer, well, what do you imagine yourself doing? Like, what would your typical day look like?
Well, I imagine myself like just sitting at a computer, like like researching and investigating on like a like rocket engine and stuff like that.
I'm talking about rocket engines. Have you seen what SpaceX is doing in Brownsville, Texas, over there in a place called Boca Chica?
Is it about a Starship?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I definitely heard of it, but I don't know exactly what they're doing.
That is supposed to be the technology that makes it affordable for you and me to go to space. But
Oh,
one reason it's so expensive is that not all of the spacecraft is reused. In the case of like the rockets produced by ULA and other companies, they have to build the spacecraft and use it only one time, so they don't get any benefit of using it a second or third time. SpaceX has improved this by reusing the first stage on their Falcon 9 and then like the capsule, but then like the second stage still has to be built. But the Starship is supposed to be 100% reusable, and they're looking at being able to launch it 3 times a day, and they're looking at
oh,
manufacturing two of them a week. And it's supposed to be the cheapest rocket to operate, but the most powerful.
hmm,
And anyway,
yeah,
but they're very close to doing a second test flight. So it'd be really interesting to see how
oh
that
yeah,
goes.
that would be.
Well, that was pretty much all the questions I had for you. Did you have any questions for me or anything else you wanted to talk about?
I just want to make a point on like why we are like trying to find a new planets and those because we are let's just put it at a way that we're kind of ruining Earth right now because of the climate change we're causing, right? Uh well, I did do some research on this. It's like the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, like for the past a million years, have stayed between like 200 and 300 parts per million. But here's what happened. In 1850, the number shot up, like really shot up because of like all the coals and wood that we're burning. So then from then to now, now we broke the 400 barrier. We're now at like about 412. So that number is like really scary for me.
Yeah, I think we do need to take better care of the Earth, but I don't see any alternative uh, to the Earth. And, because if you look at all the planets in our solar system, we have a good idea already about their suitability for habitation, and none of them come even close to being what Earth is.
Yeah.
Mars is too thin of atmosphere, too cold. Venus has too thick of an atmosphere and extremely hot. And, it's like uh, the probes we sent there have melted. Venus has no, sorry, Mercury has no atmosphere and is too close to the sun. And the moons of Jupiter and Saturn look to be too far, um, from being um, nice places to live. So even if we mess up the Earth, I still think it would be better than all of our other choices in the solar system. And in order to live in those other places, we would need to be able to create like habitats that people lived in. And they would have to have some type of protective gear to go out into the other environment. And that's something we could do on Earth as well. And it'd be far easier to get them to walk into a building than to put them on a rocket, send them off to another place.
Oh
So,
yeah. Yeah, that is true.
and
But I guess as time move on, we might find those like doing making those technologies easier, and maybe we can explore outside of the solar system. That might be a possibility too.
absolutely. And there's like exoplanets that we've discovered, and some of them might be habitable, but they're a light years away. I mean, they're
Hmm.
so far away that it takes years for the light from their stars to make it to us. Um, and in like the 1970s, we launched the Voyager probes, and they just made it outside of the solar system after, traveling for 50, 60 years. So, um, well, I guess, yeah, 50 years. To make it to another star system may actually take, using the technology that we know is possible to build, may actually take hundreds of years.
Hmm.
The people that left would not be the people that arrived unless we figure out some way to make people live longer.
Hmm. Well, I believe it will happen somehow because uh like around 100 years ago, we would never even think of reaching the space, right?
That's true too. Of course, whenever you start talking about technology like that, then you start thinking, well, maybe we could apply the technology in a different area and figure out some way to get the carbon out of the atmosphere and to manage our climate more. I mean, that almost seems uh, like easier technology than getting to another star.
Oh yeah, that is also true.
And then that'd be good because then we get to keep our planet and go
Mhm.
explore. What are your thoughts about how we would make um, the planet here better?
First of all, it's just that everyone has to do their part. Uh, for example, uh using like products that's better for the environment, and about trash too. Like what do you call it? Like like putting trash in the correct trash bin, like
Oh, recycling?
oh yeah, recycling. There we go. And then it's about like big corporations that burn a lot of coal and releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. That's really dangerous. We should like find a way to stop that from happening, either developing like new technology.
What part do you think the electric car plays in the whole process?
Well, electric car, I don't see it really benefiting because the production of the batteries really damage environment too.
Hmm. How does the like uh is there a way to produce a battery without it damaging the environment?
Not as far as I know of.
Um, let's see. Uh, so school hasn't really changed that much over the past few hundred years. You still have um, people signing up for classes, attending classroom lectures, and doing tests and things like that. Do you see the way that we learn changing a lot in the future? With new technology like Chat GPT and the ability for people to essentially have an individual tutor on demand anytime that they want it.
Oh, for this, I do think it will impact us in like some level or not. Because like right now, a lot of people already uses ChatGPT for school. Well, me included, to be honest. So, well, it definitely makes our lives easier, but at the same time, if we ask AI to do those stuff that we just are lazy that don't want to do it, then we're not learning anything. The ones that are learning are the AIs. So
It,
that's a downside that we had to think about.
I think a lot of depends on how we use it. If we get like a homework assignment and then we just type it in or take a picture of it and say solve it, and then write down the answer, we don't learn that much. But then, if we say, okay, well, can you explain this part to me? And can you create another problem that will test my understanding of this part? And this is the answer I came up with. Is that correct? There's definitely a different way to use it that maybe
Oh yeah. Yeah,
uh,
yeah, that would be beneficial.
that'd be good. Well, Andy, I really thank you for your time this morning. I know it's early, and I really appreciate getting the opportunity to hear your views and including them in my project.
Oh yeah, of course. I appreciate it for you to include me in this.
If you know anybody else that's interested, I have about 490 more days to go.
All right. All right. I will definitely ask around my people.
But thank you so much. You have a good rest of your
Yeah.
day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye bye.